Okie dokie. So, right, stop turning around. Hi, this is Keely from Retirement Dreams to Reality. And today, my little walkie vlog, I'm going to talk about why I think it is so important to retire as early as you can. But also, why I'm so desperate to retire as early as I can and get Bruce to retire as early as he can. Because I think there's lots of generic reasons why everybody should retire as soon as they can, but there's also a couple of reasons that are specific to me. So if there wasn't a more perfect example than today, I don't know when there would be. After what seems like weeks and weeks and weeks of grey skies, cloud, miserable, horrible days, today is the most beautiful, bright, crisp, sunny day. What's that got to do with retiring? Most people from about November to about February go to work in the dark and come home in the dark. I once worked in a shopping mall in Victoria Centre in Nottingham in a jeweller's, and for about 4 months I wouldn't see daylight because I would walk into the shopping mall in the dark, and when I walked out it was once again pitch black. So unless I grabbed my half an hour lunch to go outside and see some daylight, I literally didn't see daylight for months. And there will be so many people who might see this beautiful day from outside their windows, but won't be a part of it. They won't be out there taking in the fresh air, going for walks, doing all the lovely things you can do in this beautiful sunshine. They won't be doing any of it because they're too busy at work. And how depressing is that, to think that there are months and months at a time where people don't see the daylight or get to go outside and experience it, apart from the weekend if they're lucky. So for me, that's a real biggie, that if you are at work, there are so many things that you are missing out on. You might have grandkids that you want to take to school or pick up from school. You might have events that you want to see. I quite often, because I work part-time, I quite often go to a matinee at a local cinema by myself and go and watch a film on a Thursday afternoon or a Wednesday afternoon. All of these things, because most people do work full time, you're missing out on all of these. Literally, Monday to Friday is just working. So you're missing out on so many things that you could be doing instead. Now, if you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s, you, one, might have more energy to do these things instead at weekends and things. Not that you know, it'll probably be raining at the weekend, but you might be able, you know, you probably think, well, I can do those things later. But the older you get, you can't do things later, which leads me on to the very depressing second point. As I am filming this, the UK's official retirement age is between 67 and 68. So my official retirement pension age is currently 67. Bruce's, because he's younger than me, is 68. Now, in the next few years, there's a lot of talk that that could easily be increased to 70 or 71. Now, take a minute, stop and think, how many people do you know personally that have died before 70, 71? And I guarantee you it's not just going to be one or two. It's going to be quite a few. So thinking, oh, I'll wait until I'm 67 to retire because life expectancy is way into the 80s. So I'll still have 20 years to do loads of things that I want to do, is not a good plan, in my opinion. Because you might have loads of time to do things that you want to do. But there's also a chance that you might be one of those unlucky ones that doesn't even make it to 70. My dad died at 69, and I went to a funeral yesterday of somebody who died at 68. And we've all got these examples of people that are dying a few years after what is currently the official pension age. And we've also got examples of people that are obviously dying way before that, which is horrendous and awful, but we've all got examples of that. But that also then leads me on to the third reason why I think it is super important to retire as soon as you can. Because as much as life expectancy is increasing, is healthy life expectancy increasing? Is healthy lifespan increasing? And I'm not sure it is so much. There's loads and loads of research that says a huge percentage of the population, when they get to 60, have quite a few health conditions that limit their enjoyment of life. So if you wait until you are 67, 68, 70, 71 to retire, how limited is your enjoyment of life going to be? What conditions are you going to have that make it very, very difficult for you to do lots of things that you might have been putting off doing? And forgetting the fact that these conditions might not actually impact on your ability to do these things. But for example, if one of the things you want to do is go abroad on holiday, if once you start listing health conditions down on your insurance forms, health insurance, holiday insurance skyrockets. So you might think, well, I'm still, just because I've got high blood pressure and high cholesterol and gallbladder issues and arthritis and whatever, any of these things that you might have, just because I've got those, I can still go on holiday and enjoy myself. Well, you might be able to, if you can afford it, if you can afford the travel insurance. So that's another reason why I think it's really, really important to retire as soon as you can. And I suppose the only other general one I'm thinking of is in terms of the impact that work has on all of your life. So even people that work part-time, which I do, work will not just impact on their life part-time. Work will probably impact on their life for lots of the time that they're not at work. And I'll try and make that make sense, as in, I'm a teacher, so that's a real easy one. Teachers do marking at home, they do planning at home. When they are sick, they have to provide cover lessons for other teachers to take their class. They'll be preparing for exams. They'll be doing so many things when they are not actually at work that it will massively impact on their free time. So I only work part-time. Every Sunday afternoon, I can be found planning my lessons for the next week. And I only spend about 3 hours. When I was teaching full-time, most of Sunday was probably gone marking and planning. And that's not just teaching. There will be so many jobs where even if you are not physically doing something, so you might not physically be planning something, your mind will start wandering, probably on a Sunday morning, and then it will just get worse and worse. And as the day goes on, your Sunday will have been taken up in your mind with work. So you work 5 days a week and your Sunday is mentally taken up preparing for work. Wow. So literally 6 out of 7 days are obsessed with work. So that really is the final reason for me why I think it's important to retire as soon as you can. For me, there are some more personal reasons, which I will get into very shortly. I've mentioned before, I've had a traumatic brain injury. I've had a bleed on the brain and a hairline fractured skull. Now, because I've had a bleed on the brain, that has implications for 1, life expectancy, but 2, healthy life expectancy. So basically, as you get older and parts of your brain start to sort of, everybody's does, start to die, so there are parts of your brain that you won't be using, your brain switches over and uses other parts of the brain. So it makes new pathways. Now, my brain's already had to do that because huge parts of my brain have already died. My brain has already made new pathways and used parts of my brain that it wouldn't normally have used at 40 or 50 years old. So what does that mean for me? That means that my chances of getting some form of dementia are higher than other people. Now, I've done quite a bit of research into this, and it basically just means that anybody who's had a serious brain injury has an elevated risk of having dementia in later life. The fact that my mum was diagnosed with vascular dementia, and we now realise she probably had dementia around her 70th birthday, if that's my history, if that's my chances anyway, then you throw in the traumatic brain injury. And that's not looking like I want to work till I'm 67 at all. Yeah, that's looking like I need to be skedaddling out of work as soon as I can, so that I can enjoy what healthy life capacity I have left. So that's one of the reasons why I personally want to retire extra early. And one of the other reasons, also linked to my brain injury, is that because of anxiety and because of fatigue, which I really don't get that much anymore. Immediately after my brain injury, I got huge amounts of fatigue. But over the years, it's been 10 years now, I don't get half as much fatigue as I used to get. But I am still in the mindset that I need to save my battery. I need to save my brain battery. So on the days that I work, 9 till 3, for example, I generally wouldn't plan to do anything in the evening. I truly believe that now I could, but I don't, because I sort of daren't a little bit. My mindset is that I've got to go to work on Tuesday morning. If I use all my battery on Monday, what am I going to do for the rest of the week? Now, I've done 24 hours door to door to visit my son in America and had no problems whatsoever. And I've done that regularly. And I ran the London Marathon, absolutely fine. So as I say, I don't really suffer from fatigue like I did. But because it's now ingrained in me, I don't make the best use of my time during the week when I'm at work. I just don't. And I don't think I ever will, because there'll always be that bit of me that says, if you totally use your brain up, you won't be able to teach tomorrow. So I don't do that. So that's another personal reason that if I am working, it doesn't only mean that I can't go and do the things that I want to do because I'm at work, physically at that time. It also means I can't do the things that I want to do other parts of the day because I'm saving my brain for tomorrow. And that's not particularly applicable to other people, but there will be lots of people that just say, I'm just too tired after work. I'm just too exhausted to go out and do anything else. So that is sort of applicable to other people as well. So I think that is most of the reasons why I think it's important to retire as early as you can. But obviously you've got to get the balance of retiring with enough money that you can do what you want to do. So if you retire too early, it might not be too early physically and mentally, but it might be too early financially. But then if you retire too late, it might be fine physically and mentally, but then you end up being the richest person in the graveyard because you just had too much money. So that's important as well, isn't it? Making sure that you've got enough. And there's loads and loads of talk about one more year. So many people supposedly do one more year. Well, that's not going to be me. So thank you for taking that walk with me. It's an absolutely beautiful day. I haven't been able to walk by water today because literally everywhere is boggy. I've had to turn back on my walk at one point because if I wanted to wade through in wellies, which I don't have on, I wouldn't even be able to do it because it's literally everywhere, because it's rained so much. Even though this is the most brightest, beautifulest day, I've had to steer away from water because it's literally rained so much. So that's Keely from Retirement Dreams to Reality. Thank you for watching.